for sure. I mean, every game is a new game. I mean, you play almost a perfect game, so just move on.
This team hasn't going when you guys are trailing going into the third period. You guys haven't won a game yet this year. What has to happen to start sort of coming back in that third period?
Oh, I think we've come from behind. I don't think it's just based on periods, and that's also a historical stat because I'm sure you'd look at all that. There's really not much relevance to that this year. I mean, that's always a very stat that's like a double figure to zero number a lot, right?
You know, you always compartmentalize and look at the stats for everyone, but goalies in particular. I'll just ask you flat out, are you getting good enough goaltending lately?
I think our goaltending this year has been streaky, if you look at it, both our goalies. If you look at it from the start of the year, you got just check, but I'm just thinking off the top. I think Markey wins like 4 of his first 5, or right in there, 5 of the first 6, and then you go into early November, and that's where, quite honest, where we struggled. If you look at it, late October and a couple of weeks in November, there's probably 7 or 8 games where our goaltending was not where it needed to be, and then I remember talking after, was it like the first quarter, the games, the ratio of started games, and then then we really dug in on that and adjusted it more, so that probably I'm going to say since, and then also in that Markey, like before Christmas, that's also where you start getting close to that halfway mark. Markey was really hot in there, and then once January rolled around, then we started looking at more starts and the schedule and recovery, all that stuff. And then Vladdy got hot. So if you look at it, it's been real streaky, both sides.
So you use the word adjustment in your answer just there now too. Like, you adjusted when Markstrom was kind of having some problems. You spelled him off for a little while, and Dan carried the ball.
Yeah, you got to look at it, Eric, because I don't have in front of me the after 20 games the start ratio. It's, and I know in the league, quite honest, going into this week, that ratio starts in the league is, other than there's probably 5 guys at the top and 5 guys at the bottom that blow it away one way or the other, not playing or playing. I'd say that we're probably, a lot of teams are saying the same thing, quite honest, when you get into that low 30s and low 20s ratio, which is what we are. And there's a reason for it. That's because it's streaky.
Does it make you reconsider your starting assignments? Right now, for example, Markstrom's he's in a bad streak somewhat. Would you consider starting Vladar more now? Like
well, if he'd have won, I'm not getting into individual stuff. That's for you to go talk to players. You want me to transfer it through media. That's not the way it works with me. So if Markey would have won in Detroit, if he'd have won or if we'd lost in overtime in Buffalo and won in Ottawa, then you would be saying it. So if you look at, there's pivotal points through the season with those guys. And quite honest, it's not so much Markey starts, it's Vladar being able to handle when he gets 3 or 4 in a row. It's the next one that you start seeing it, right? Because he's a kid. You start seeing things in his game. Okay, got to pull that back. So it's, it's like I talked to Mike Vernon about this, quite honest, quite a while ago. And it's quite honest, true, the best way to answer all your questions, you need 2 goalies. So that ratio is closing up for us.
We've talked a few times this year about winger play getting closer to the center play. Were the last 2 games for you a couple of really good games for your wingers?
Yeah, you know what? We're playing teams that play a different type of neutral zone. 3 of the 4 to start on the Eastern trip. So you have to play a little different game. I think we adjusted as it went along. And I think that, quite honestly, against Detroit, we weren't very good against it. And then in the next night in Buffalo, we got better at it, and then Ottawa, we were really good at it. So you want to try and carry that forward.
Darryl, what's allowed Dennis Gilbert to jump into your lineup when he has and be a pretty effective player?
Because Tanny and Ross have been hurt.
Well, what about Dennis's game have you liked that has allowed him to kind of be a seamless
You know,
fit?
you got to create that's just like having lines. You know, if somebody's hot on the line, then you say the line's good. Well, with the way our defense has been this year, it's Tanny's been in and out, right? So he's missed 3 stretches so we've had to give guys opportunities, and you take the opportunity. What's allowed him? Because he's outplayed whoever else was in there. It's not that, it's a fine line, and Dennis is one guy that can play both sides for us. So, and he's done it. He's did it through school and did it through his pro career. So that's allowed us a little bit of flexibility in it.
So Rasmus not having played recently, what's the onus on your other blue liners to move the puck more, carry the puck through all 3 zones?
Yeah, it's no different than that you're saying that because that's Rass's unique skill set, right? That's what he's really good at. So when Tanny's out, what's his unique skill set? So everybody has to do that little bit, try and do it a little bit more or a little bit better, and we've been good at it. It hasn't been any issue at all.
You changed up your power play units coming out of the break.
Yeah.
Have you liked what you've seen in 3 games?
We just wanted, and it was hard because Ross has been gone, but McKenzie jumped in there as that right guy. We just wanted to get a little different look up top in terms of lefties, righties, and we played, quite honest, we played guys who are 50-some games in. We have guys that don't have a power play goal yet. So, that's a pretty patient approach, but at the same time, you have top guys that could produce more.
Darryl, can I just circle back on your conversation with Mike Vernon? Because every goalie I've ever talked to wants to play 75 games or so. What was his rationale for the importance of having to?
Well, just the way, and that might have been every goalie you've ever talked to said that, but the schedule's quite a bit different, right? And if everybody says, well, historically that's what you've done. Well, historically that's not what you've done. If you look at it, it's those guys who play that there's a minute number that's a number that's kind of maxes guys out, and so then you want them. It depends where you're at with your organization, right? There's some teams that'll play guys 70 games, but they're in the lottery. The way the league is now, right? So it's quite a bit different. The league is much more even, so than at any point it's ever been. So it's probably better with your schedule to, if you could ever get into that 50-30 or that, in that split area, and that's kind of where we are. So.
Do you have enough, have you seen enough of Dan at this level to know what his minute number is? Or is that
He's a young goalie. So not really. It says, I just said the goalies have both been streaky. So it's streaky because they're young, streaky, whatever, right?
Last night you had the unique opportunity to be a surprise witness for a couple's wedding. What was that experience like for you?
Cool. Went to a hockey game and a wedding broke out. I've witnessed weddings before, but never on short notice. It's like getting pulled off the street in Vegas. Here, we gonna witness this. It was fun.
We've seen proposals at hockey games. Have you ever seen a wedding at a hockey game?
I don't think so, but I bet I have on TV or something at a junior game or something like that. But it was pretty cool.